Donald Trump's return to Washington, D.C. has turned into a political disaster as nearly every one of his major plans has collapsed before the eyes of the world. After another taxpayer-funded golf weekend at Mar-a-Lago, Trump landed in the Capitol projecting confidence. But within hours, chaos followed. His much-publicized ceasefire plan had completely fallen apart. In public remarks, Trump admitted he would not sanction Russia or send weapons to Ukraine, and even suggested that he supported Vladimir Putin taking control of large parts of the country. It was a stunning admission, one that placed the former president openly on the side of an authoritarian regime while claiming to defend freedom. Domestically, the impact was just as severe. The government remained shut down, and Trump continued to boast about ending health care coverage for 20 million Americans. Rural hospitals prepared to close federal employees faced pay cuts, and families were left unsure whether their next doctor's visit would be covered. Meanwhile, Trump announced $40 billion in aid to Argentina, a move that outraged American farmers. When reporters aboard Air Force One questioned his priorities, he snapped at one journalist, saying, "Look, young lady, you don't know what you're talking about. Argentina is fighting for its life." He spoke emotionally about Argentina's struggles, but said nothing about Americans losing jobs, homes, or health care. The clip went viral, showing a president defensive, out of touch, and overwhelmed by his own ego. Then came a shocking moment in a press briefing. Asked about Israel's new strikes in Gaza, Trump responded, "Striking where? What's happening?" He appeared unaware of the ongoing violence. As the Middle East descended into another round of bloodshed, the man once called leader of the free world seemed detached from reality, wandering through confusion while global crises mounted. Behind closed doors, matters grew worse. During a tense meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Trump reportedly shouted at him to accept the current front lines and stop fighting. "We're not helping you at all," he said. "Just accept what Russia took and shut up." Witnesses say Trump even referenced a conversation, with Putin claiming the Russian leader had already told him how it was going to go down. When asked later, Trump denied the statements, but moments later repeated that Ukraine should stop at the battle lines and go home. His words amounted to a call for surrender. NATO allies were alarmed. European diplomats described Trump's behavior as an open gift to Putin, and Pentagon officials warned that refusing to support Ukraine could destabilize Eastern Europe. Trump dismissed those concerns and later told reporters he had saved lives by urging Ukraine to stop fighting, a statement critics described as cowardice disguised as peace. At home, the disruption continued. Trump abruptly terminated the $16 billion Hudson River Tunnel project connecting New York and New Jersey, boasting that the decision was his alone. Thousands of workers, engineers, and contractors were left without contracts overnight. When pressed for an explanation, Trump accused Democrats of being foolish and claimed the project was unnecessary. Economists warned that his decision would destroy tens of thousands of jobs and delay key transportation links for years. Soon after, Trump lashed out at the No Kings protest, the largest demonstration in modern U.S. history, where millions marched nationwide under banners reading "No Kings since 1776. The movement called for accountability and limits on executive power. Trump dismissed it all as a joke, blaming billionaire George Soros and radical left lunatics. He labeled protesters whacked out and un-American, even saying they don't represent this country. As the shutdown dragged on, reporters asked if Trump would extend Affordable Care Act tax credits that millions rely on. Instead of answering, he accused Democrats of wanting to destroy all health care and give $1.5 trillion to illegal immigrants. Experts quickly debunked those claims, noting that federal funds cannot legally go to undocumented immigrants under the ACA. But Trump's rhetoric played to his base rather than to facts. Meanwhile, inflation worsened. Prices for food, gas, and housing continued to climb. Asked about the issue, Trump quipped, "The only thing that's high is beef. We'll fix that by getting beef from Argentina," referencing the same country he had just bailed out. Economists noted that Argentina exports mainly to China, not the United States, making his statement nonsensical. Trump also claimed that as president he could invoke the Insurrection Act any time, insisting that 50% of presidents have used it. In reality, only a handful have done so, and only during major national emergencies. His comments raised fears that he might deploy the military against American citizens protesting his policies. The same week, an international scandal erupted. Colombia's president accused U.S. forces of killing innocent fishermen in a botched naval strike. Trump dismissed the report, saying, "What are you talking about? We shot down a submarine," confusing two separate incidents and disregarding civilian deaths. When pressed, he threatened to impose tariffs on Colombia tomorrow and called its president a lunatic with mental problems. His pattern of inflammatory rhetoric extended at home. When asked about Jay Jones, a black candidate for Attorney General in Virginia, Trump called him an animal and a low IQ guy. The remarks echoed a long history of racist statements. Weeks earlier, the Department of Homeland Security had been caught altering video footage to falsely depict young black men as cartel-linked attackers. By this point, nearly every aspect of Trump's presidency appeared to be unraveling. He alienated allies abroad, insulted protesters at home, undermined healthcare, and halted major infrastructure projects. He abandoned Ukraine, angered farmers, and reignited racial divisions, all while insisting that no one has done more for this country. But the data told another story: rising poverty, increasing debt, collapsing trust, and fractured global alliances. Economists described his policies as chaos for the sake of chaos, while international observers called his leadership the most destabilizing in modern U.S. history. Trump's return to power has brought confusion, anger, and incompetence on an unprecedented scale. Every plan he touched fell apart. Every promise he made dissolved into scandal, and every denial only deepened the crisis. The world is watching as Washington struggles to manage the fallout. For now, the future of the United States remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. What began as a pledge to restore greatness has spiraled into a presidency defined by arrogance, disorder, and decay.